This is Remote Daily. I'm Felix, and here are our guests. Again, welcome to the virtual stage, Jade, Keris, and Kyle. Welcome. You're so humble you don't switch your mics on, I know, but I ask you now to go off mute and come up on stage because there is so much to share here. So Jade was so generous to share a few pictures with us, and we will take a journey through the life of this very special band of brothers and sisters. Understand the little, not so little things these siblings have learned from one another. And we're taking this journey through pictures. As we talk about journeys, wanted to ask Kyle though, first. Kyle, because you haven't been to Remote Daily yet, and you are a sailor by profession. So may I ask you, Kyle, what was your latest journey that you actually took, that took you out of the four walls that we all live in right now and into the world?
Well, yesterday, actually, I had to go to a place called Roche Harbor, which is just across the Harrow Strait, which probably doesn't mean anything to a lot of people here. It's a small port in the San Juan Islands, which is just in Washington State. And I was basically a client from America who, because of COVID, can't get their boat. The way people are getting their boats is they're hiring skippers, Canadian skippers, to take their boats from Canada to America. So yeah, I took our little boat Booty, a little chase boat, and followed behind the boat we delivered to bring the skipper back. So yeah, it was a beautiful day yesterday. It was a little lumpy in the strait, but not too much wind, and yeah, it was a fun trip. It's gorgeous down there. I don't know if anyone's ever been Puget Sound.
I think I'm not exaggerating if I say that the San Juan Islands are probably one of the most beautiful places on Earth, right? I mean, people travel from all over this planet to be there. Yeah,
it boggles my mind every time I'm out there.
So everybody who hasn't been there, just Google it. I have only been close. I never got to the actual San Juan Islands. It's considered a magic place. And well, let's dive right in. I mean, let's set the sails here because as I said, Jade has brought a story in pictures, and I'm going to share the first one right now. And actually, I'm going to ask from this very special day, I'm going to ask Keris. Keris, would you mind sharing with us what went through your mind in this moment?
Oh my gosh, goodness gracious, I feel like that was so long ago. Actually, just looking at this picture, it's just so nice to see this, but I don't know what was going through my mind. I'm probably thinking, this happened so fast. How are we here already? Yeah, because time just flies. But us being there together, probably missing Rebecca, but knowing that she's there with us in that picture, although you can't see her,
Yeah,
she always is.
Jade, I know wedding days can be very blurry, but do you remember this moment, if at all?
I do remember the moment. It's probably one of my fondest moments from that day. The three of us together, and sorry, my sister Rebecca, who's passed. Many of you know that. Keris gave me a really nice picture of Rebecca, which was stuck to my bouquet. And as nice as that moment was, it was sort of bittersweet because she wasn't there with us. But we always find a way to include her in all that we do. So whenever the three of us together with something special like this, I think of Rebecca, even now, and that she's here with us in spirit.
Thank you for sharing this with us, Jade. So you actually had a picture on your bouquet that reminded you of the one that is missing in this picture. And Kyle, may I ask you, you look great, man. I mean, it's hard to look good with these two, but you do. What do you remember about this day?
Oh, thank you. Now that Jade told that story, I remember that vividly. I also, I feel the same as Keris. I remember thinking this happened very fast, and how did we get here? And I just remember being very happy to be with my sisters, and And then when Keris gave Jade that little picture, it was like it completed the moment for me.
You all look stunning, and especially the bride here. It's such a wonderful picture, and thank you, Jade, for sharing this with us. And I would now invite you to take a step back in time on the journey of our three siblings here, because here is the second picture. And Jade, would you mind sharing this moment, this memory, and what it means for you?
I love this picture, and Keris does not like this picture. In fact, I told Keris that I sent this picture on to you. She goes, "Why did you send him that picture?" I do not like it. So one of the reasons I love this picture so much, and this is one of the lessons that I learned, is to be in the moment, enjoy the moment, because you never know what tomorrow brings. You're here now and you're gone tomorrow. This was Rebecca's 30th birthday. And I was, I think, in Pittsburgh, and I'm not sure where Keris was, and Rebecca might have been in Canada. And we decided to meet in Miami, South Beach, to go all out for Rebecca's birthday. And we couldn't really afford to go all out for Rebecca's birthday, but we made the investment and we went all out. And it was such a blast the whole weekend. We had a beautiful hotel room. We got our own table with bottle service at the nightclub. It was such a blast. Yeah.
You look so happy there. And I'll stop the screen share here for a moment, because before we jump to the next picture, Jade, what is a lesson, from your siblings back then that you wish you would have known, that you know about now?
A lesson back then that I wish I would have known. You're stumping me on that question. A lesson that I learned back then that I wish I would have known now is, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just saying that, you mentioned something about enjoying this moment, and you probably had, back then, you probably didn't know how precious it would become, right? This is also the reason why we're looking, or why we're just looking at the picture.
Exactly. And I mean, honestly, that is the lesson that I learned from Rebecca. I didn't know it at that moment when we were in that experience that we should be doing this because we never know what tomorrow brings. But ever since Rebecca passing, it really has brought to light that you need to enjoy the moment. And that's how I live my life now. I don't want to jump ahead to something you might ask later on, but even when Kyle and I were going through the kidney transplant, we were downtown Toronto. We had to keep meeting up for all our workup for the kidney. And he and I just had so much fun in the moment. We had half hour to kill between doctor's appointments. So we rented bikes and just rode around the city, or we'd have, 20 minutes to kill. Let's Google the best coffee shop. And Kyle couldn't drink coffee, but I could. Coffee's not good for your kidneys. So just that lesson of just living in the moment and being in the moment, and don't say no all the time. Say yes. Be a yes person.
Yes, and we will talk about this very special thing that you did for one another in a minute. Before that, I would like to make a jump in time and show this beautiful picture of the whole family, and a very special moment, the peak of the Blue Mountains. Kyle, maybe I can ask you, and I know we haven't, practiced this conversation at all, so I'm just putting you guys on the spot all the time. Is there something you learned from your siblings that day when you were walking up there?
I guess just their insane power and just ability. I also learned that for that, especially with Jade, everything's a competition.
Kyle, can you please tell how you also learned to be more present?
Oh, yeah.
Flashlight.
True. I learned to be more present and not paying attention to what's happening right now instead of always trying to look around for something different. I guess I learned that.
I have to interject. Kyle almost killed Keris's husband.
Oh my goodness.
Short.
I mean,
yeah, we're hiking up the mountain. If any of you ever go to the Blue Mountains and do this hike, we'll have to tell you the spot where we almost lost our nail. So we didn't have enough flashlights for the trip. We were hiking. It was dark because we wanted to catch the sunrise.
Early morning.
Exactly. So every other person had a flashlight, and Kyle was at the very back. And Kyle was supposed to be shining the light on Darnell, Keris's, was he your fiance at the time? Anyway, Keris's now husband.
Yeah.
So Kyle shining the light for Darnell. And Darnell was a little bit slower than the rest of us. So Kyle would shine the light ahead so Darnell could see the path ahead and then give him time to catch up. And Kyle's looking up in the sky, looking around. And every time I would look back to check, I see Kyle's flashlight in the sky. And I'm thinking, what is he doing? How can they see where they're going? Then all of a sudden, I hear this noise. And I think, yeah, that's what I thought. So I yell ahead, everybody hold up, because I was the next person in front of Darnell. I was like, everybody hold up.
Yeah, right.
And I turn around, I don't see them. So I just walk around the bend. You see Kyle down the edge of the cliff shining the flashlight. And Darnell is holding on for dear life onto the side of the cliff. Thank God he landed on a tree and the tree caught his fall. So I yell ahead and everyone comes running down. My mom always says she never saw Keris run so fast before in her life.
Wow.
And then we had to pull Darnell up. So yeah, Kyle, pay attention.
Be present.
Kyle, I'm sorry I brought you
into more detail on that story.
Yeah, it's okay. No comment. No comment asked. I was going a completely different direction because Jade, you were actually sharing this with not to scold Kyle, but because you went there for your sister, right?
Exactly. We went.
Yeah, we did.
To take Rebecca's ashes. The one place that she always wanted to go. My family's from Jamaica, and we would often go as a family. And Rebecca always wanted to go to the Blue Mountains, and we always said no. We want to go to the beach, and she never got to go. So we were taking her ashes, and my dad carried her ashes up on his back, and we did it together. It was a beautiful thing for us to do.
Wow, that's so powerful. And still the competition is also visible in this picture. You guys look exhausted, but so happy. And I can see that you were running up that mountain in the night, catching the first light of the day. So thank you for sharing this with us. And now, Jade, you just talked about it. You embarked on a journey with Kyle that you call the kidney process. And we're looking at a picture here now at a before and after of a very, very intense and very difficult time. So Jade, would you mind introducing us to this thing that happened because of your sister's passing that led you to this day?
Exactly. So Rebecca died of kidney failure, so we all had to get tested after her passing, and that's when we discovered Kyle too had a kidney disease, something different than what Rebecca had. And if I remember correctly, the doctor had told Kyle that without medication, he has 6 months to a year to live. So he needed to start dialysis soon, start medication, and at some point get a kidney transplant. So that was the beginning. It was a long journey. He was on dialysis, and I actually was in the middle of my divorce at the time when this whole thing went down. So it was very stressful in some sort of weird way. It gave me some peace and strength to be able to help Kyle in this way during my time of despair. And this is the day after the kidney transplant. It was so, I remember probably one of the first things I asked Kyle when I came out, or the doctor, was if Kyle had peed yet, because what was one of the first things that they know that your kidney, that it's been a success, is that your body's able to create urine.
And you were on this journey together. I mean, now Kyle has your kidney. It doesn't get closer than that. How did you manage to make this scary and somewhat sad moment fun? What helped you actually doing that?
Go for it, Kyle.
I guess it's just a choice, really. You know, you're in this situation, and you know, especially at that stage that you see here. I mean, for me at least, I'd pretty much tried everything I could to avoid being at this place, and I ended up there anyways. So it was just, you know, accepting kind of where you were and then just choosing to make the best of it, you know. There's obviously moments, I remember many moments where, you know, I was by myself and, you know, the sadness creeps in and, you know, you got to kind of feel that. But ultimately it was just, and the people that were around me and rallied around me, all like my family and my sisters, and, you know, it just made it so much easier, you know, and, you know, especially having someone like Jade there, it's, you know, I get so much energy from her all the time, you know, like she even said at the start, even to the day, even till today, I still get so much energy from her. I mean, not just because, you know, there's a piece of her in my body, but because, you know, when she has a bad day, she'll call me and be like, Kyle, I need to do push-ups. And it's like, all right. And then it makes us feel better. So yeah, it's just, it's, you know, I discovered it's the people, you know?
Yeah. And it's a lot of love here in the chat. Thank you for sharing these very, very personal and intimate moments with us. You have something that even visually connects you to this day. Siblings don't ever forget each other, but you made this even more visible on your wrists. So before you may show what you share on your wrists, whom of you had the idea to get a tattoo in the first place?
Whose idea was it?
Was it?
Whose idea
Karis?
was it?
I feel like it was
Probably
it
mine because I was
probably
into
Keris's?
tattoos. Yeah, I was like into tattoos
Yeah.
at the time, so probably mine. Yeah.
And would you mind holding your wrists into the camera so that we can see what's on there?
My parents have the same one. So we were going to get the tattoos, and Karis, it was your idea because I remember you came to me and you said it to me. So it's a forget-me-not flower. Rebecca's favorite flower was a forget-me-not. So we decided to get the forget-me-nots on our wrist. And Karis came and asked me. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Kyle was in, and then we were all scared to tell my parents we were doing this, although we're adults. And
rightfully so.
So the conversation was, Jade, you need to tell mommy and daddy that we're going to get tattoos. So I went and I told my mom, and she goes, okay, well, I'll come too. I was like, well, what do you mean you'll come too? You're going to watch us? She goes, no, I'll get one too. I was like, it's a tattoo. It's permanent on your body. She goes, I know. I was like, okay. So I told Keris and Kyle, I'm like, all right, well, we got to get daddy to do it too. So it was like, well, who's going to tell daddy? And it was a whole thing. And then I don't remember who spoke to him first, but he was like, all right, well, let's go. And then my dad was like, yeah, I might get a whole her face on my arm. Yeah. He was all in. We had to talk him down, like, just get the forget-me-not. And then to me, one of the funniest parts of that moment, my grandfather, my mom's dad, was driving from New York to come for Rebecca's funeral service. And we were getting ready to leave to go to do the tattoos. And my mom says, well, we've got to hurry up before Grandpa gets here. I don't want him to know where we're going. It's this fear we all have of telling our dads the truth.
And Yvonne and Donita just put in the chat, of course, the oldest gets selected to tell mom and dad. Of course.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Who
Always,
else?
always.
Yeah, always the same.
Yeah.
I mean, who else has these tattoos by now? Because you told me that they're making the rounds in the family, right?
A lot of
Alicia has it.
Yeah,
my
Alicia,
cousin,
Kevin.
are on here now. They have
Kevin
it.
has it. Yeah.
And some of our good friends in England who came also for the funeral, they went and got the tattoo as well. So there's a nice gang of us. And Lincoln got one as well. One of Rebecca's
her
friends.
Rebecca's ex-boyfriend, yeah.
I have you all. We see you all together now on Zoom thanks to the spotlight function. This is the family. These are our guests today, and I couldn't be more excited. Kyle, when you look at your sisters now today, February 18, 21, what is something you would still like to learn from them? What is something they are maybe still better at than you, that you as their brother are not?
I think they're better at being open than I am, to be honest, and sharing. You know, they call me every day to like share every little detail of what's going on. And I mean, they love talking it through, and I love that about them. And I mean, sometimes I can be like, oh, I never get to share, but from them sharing with me, it always helps me like with my day. So it's because then sometimes I help talk them through stuff. I remember I was talking to Keris, I think not yesterday, the day before, and I forget what she was complaining about, the way somebody was driving or something like that, or going into, I forget what it was. And we talked about it, and and I think it ended up with her forgiving the other person, and not letting it affect her day. And I remember taking that into the rest of my day, and being like, everybody's got their cross to carry or got their stuff going on. So yeah, I guess that's what I would like. I think that's what they're much better at than me, is being able to share and being able to talk about every little thing that happens and work through it. And plus, I wish I could do more yoga like they do. They're so committed to it.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm just looking at you. I don't want this moment to fade. It's so great to know that you are in this room with us together, that you're taking the time to share this love and share so much advice. I actually have just one last question for you, because before we let the community gather in the breakouts, there's so many siblings these days that have not managed to stick together and that sort of lose their connection because of lockdown and COVID and maybe other issues. Do you have any advice, like how to get back together, how to start the conversation again, how to establish the routines that you, from 210 push-ups to like daily calls no matter what, have found? Like what is your message to all the people out there that have not managed to create this bond? How can we get there where you are?
I think it boils down to choice. Really, you have to make that choice that you want these people in your life. And a lot of times people do, they just don't know how to go about it. And it's just make a phone call, and change the way you look at the situation. I see my sisters as like a gift. So like as a present you get before a journey to help you along your journey, So yeah, they're like my invisibility cloak or whatever.
I think a lot of people also are waiting for the other person to do it, to make the call or to make the connection. And kind of like what Kyle says, just kind of do it. And it starts with you, and then it just trickles down, and you just start going back and forth, and it becomes a daily habit. If I don't hear from Jade or Kyle, it's very strange. It's not normal, whether it's a text or a message or something. Even if it's not a phone call, we have that connection because there's no set, okay, I'm going to call or Kyle calls. You just do it, and it starts with you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If we don't hear from one another, somebody makes a phone call. It's not like, oh, why don't you call me? It's just be like, somebody will call.
And I'll add one last thing, is also just practicing forgiveness, right? So many times relations get hung up or stuck up on something that happened or something that was said. And if we all practice forgiveness, then we can move past these things and move forward in life.
Wow. Make it about the little things, make that first step, and practice forgiveness. What a powerful lesson here from Jade, Keris, and Kyle, our guests of today.